presenter, I'm Ajinkya Adsul, and I'm welcoming you all from the behalf of Technomechanics and Energy for All Ventures. So yeah, we will be discussing the most fancy thing in the 21st century, the machine learning, which is the key aspect from data science. So I think we should start. And the content for this webinar is introduction. We will be discussing about some different types of learning in machine learning. Then we will come up with history. In that we will be discussing some inventions from past, like you will know, we will come to know like from when the machine learning is actually invented. Then we will come to application, then amazing examples on the amazing examples are the projects on which I have personally worked on. And then we will be discussing about learning process like programming and the maths and statistics also. Yeah, so let's get started. Now, what is machine learning? You might be thinking about, what is this machine learning? Does the machine learns it by itself? Then no. There is some program which learns. So machine learning, the classical definition of machine learning is given by performing a task based on generalized information, data, or example, and learn to improve the performance. There was a data scientist called Tom Michel who was very prominent in this field, particularly in the machine learning and data science. He said that a computer program is said to learn from experience E with respect to some class of tasks T and performance measure P. If performance on task T is improved by with respect to E. So we are all from electronics and electrical background. Yeah, can you please mute yourself? Hello.
Okay, sorry, I will
Yeah.
mute it.
Yeah. Yeah, so we are all are from electronics and electrical background. So I will explain you from that analogy. So we already know some basic logic gates, and there are half adders. So like half adder, we have some input and we have to predict the output. Unlike electronics, in electronics we have the output, but here we have to predict the output. Like we have to predict something like sales. If the sales of this week will be go more than the last week, or if like classification, if the review is positive or not. So these are some basic examples of machine learning. Now we will go to the history. Now, in the very first line, you can see in 1950s, Samuel has developed a program called checker playing program. Checker was one of the board game played in the European countries, and it was the first successful self-learning program. Now you can see the machine learning is not the 21st century's things. The researchers are researching from the 1950s, and they are like keeping evolving. They are evolving the programs. There are new algorithms every year. New statistical analysis are discovered in every year. Like here there are medium towards data science. These platforms are like literally discovering new things every year. In 1960s, pattern recognition was discovered, which was another key aspect from machine learning. In 1970s, natural language processing was used for the very first time. We still use natural language processing. If you have if you have Amazon installed in your mobile phone, you will know that whenever you buy something, you write some review that like, I like this project, or I did not like this project because of this and that. So whenever the data scientist of Amazon wants to know if his product is doing good or not, he will do natural language processing. He will take some reviews. He will check if there are multiple positive words, and then he will label them as positive and negative. In 1980s, advanced decision trees were discovered, and the focus was more on experimental methodology. Like till 1980, there was more of a theoretical approach to the machine learning, but after 1980s, after the evolution of electronics, like there were some electronic inventions which helped machine learning, and the data scientists focus more on experiments. In 1990s, support vector machines, text learning, ensemble models, etc. research was completed. Support vector machines are like still used in multiple internet companies, especially like Amazon, Flipkart. Text learning is another natural language processing algorithm, and ensemble models is used in like almost every company, whenever there is data science is involved. Ensemble models is like basically combining two or more models to get more accuracies. Yeah, so we will be discussing now some key inventions. The amazing key invention in 1994 was self-driving cars road test. Now you can see in the recent years, Tesla has invented a self-driving car, but the 1990 the first car test was in 1994. In 1997, IBM's chess computer Deep Blue has beaten Gary Kasparov. If you know Gary Kasparov was world champion for the consecutive 15 years. Now here you get to know that how powerful the machine learning is. Defeating 15 times world champion is not an easy task, but the Deep Blue, the IBM's chess computer, has done it easily. And that's why machine learning is still the most important skill in any software company. In 2009, Google built self-driving car. In 2011, IBM Watson with Jeopardy. Jeopardy is America's favorite quiz show, and it won with the prize of $1 million. And the prize was given to that particular computer in 2011. Now you will get to know about the depth of machine learning. IBM's Watson was given $1 million in 2011, which is like almost $5 to $6 million in today's date. In 2014, human vision was surpassed by machine learning system. That means the computer vision was invented then. In normal human vision, was not better than machine learning system. That means the machine learning systems developed some algorithm which can easily detect some object, like we used in our computer itself, in mobiles. Whenever you try to click your selfie, it tries to predict your age. If you are having some group, then it shows like, if you have AI camera in it, it shows like you are taking a group photo. If there is something like flower, it shows us that it's a nature's photo. So this was due to the research carried out in 2014 regarding to computer vision. Now we will be discussing about some theoretical part of machine learning. Like there were 4 different types of learning in machine learning. Supervised learning comes the very first and most important type of machine learning. The second one is unsupervised learning. Third comes reinforcement learning, and fourth is semi-supervised learning. Now we will be discussing all of these in some details. Now the very first is supervised learning. In supervised learning, we have X and Y. You can consider X as input and Y as output. So initially we have pre-classified training examples. Like suppose if you are trying to predict if the review given by a user is positive or negative, you have the review and the label, the Y side of that is positive or negative. Now, what we data scientists do is, given an observation X, they predict the best label for Y. The label in the sense if the review is positive or negative. You can see in the diagram we have some input raw data. There is some algorithm. After processing, it gives us the output. Like there are three different colors like red, green, and violet. So these three belongs to 3 different labels. Now coming back to the unsupervised learning, unlike supervised learning, here only the X is given. That means there is no label data is given. We have to cluster the X, like we have to cluster the input data points or summarize them to find best label for Y. Now you will say in the diagram, you have the same output, but no. In last diagram, here we have the outputs are different labels, and here we have different clusters. Let's assume we have input raw data of sales of technomechanics for the year 2020. In the output, we can have, let's say, there are only 2 clusters. The first one is orange one, which has label of red, profit, and the second is green one, which is loss. If the point goes somewhere near about profits cluster, then you can determine that yes, it's this week's this year's sales are going in profit. And if the cluster, if the point goes nearest to the loss cluster, then you can
Hello.
say yeah.
Ajike, can you go please bit slow?
Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah. So here we have two different output. There are two different clusters. In the first cluster we have profit, and in second cluster we have loss. So in this way, unsupervised learning works. Now coming to the reinforcement learning. This I think should be the one of the most important topic from your point of view, as we are all from robotics and electronics background. We are all interested in IoT and robotics. That's why I think this is one of the most interesting part for us. Now here, what happens in reinforcement learning is actually an agent is acting in environment, and we have to figure out what action the agent has to take based on rewards and punishment. Now you might be wondering about what is rewards and punishment. So like, let me explain the diagram first and then you will know it by itself. So agent is like something, an algorithm or neural network which reacts to the environment. Now we have seen like in the past there was a deep blue IBM's chess computer which defeated Gary Kasparov. So like we can think of that here. The agent like is the program here. It reacts to the environment. Like if the Gary Kasparov plays some moves, like if he does a move by his pawn or his knight, the agent or the IBM's uh, chess computer has to decide it depending on that. If he moves by his, if Gary Kasparov moved his knight, the agent's reaction will be different. If he moved his king, the agent's reaction would be different. So depending on the environment, agent reacts to
Uh,
that particular environment.
Evilise.
Hello? Yeah. Should I move forward? Yeah. So now after reinforcement learning, we have semi-supervised learning. Like you will know it by its name itself. Semi-supervised learning is combination of supervised and unsupervised learning. So here we have hello, hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so there are some data points which are labeled, and so some data points are not labeled. In semi-supervised learning, we have we have to do two tasks. The first task is to predict the labels of unlabeled data, and then combine both the predicted labels and the labeled data and perform supervised learning. So these things is a combination of supervised and unsupervised learning, but in the end, it's similar to supervised learning itself. So now, hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so now we will be discussing about domains and application. The very first domain is medicine. Now, most of you will be thinking how medicine and engineering uh, domains are similar, but the artificial intelligence and the machine learning are fit anywhere. They fit in commerce, they are good to fit in arts, as well as in any company. Wherever you go, you can use the artificial intelligence and machine learning. So the first example I have taken here is diagnosis of a disease. The inputs here will be symptoms, some lab measurements like blood pressure and all, some test results, like there is a coronavirus. So we can take here is the test results as COVID-19 results. And these inputs are determined as per medical experts. Like the engineers cannot do know like which symptom is more important. So here we have to discuss it with the domain expert, and the domain expert here can be a surgeon. And then we come to our output, which is a set of possible diseases, or it can be, or the patient maybe has not any disease. So the output is a set of diseases or no disease. Another example in medical domain is prediction of heart attack based on ECG. So ECG, I think you all might know, ECG is electrocardiogram. So the based on time series analysis, we can easily predict heart attack based on ECG. So if in the ECG the patient's heart is beating more than like 100 times per second, so you can know it's a very critical condition for a patient. So you can easily predict if there is any heart attack in the future day. Now next is vision, where it is object detection, like as I said in a previous slide. we use it in our camera. So like companies like Oppo, Vivo have the AI camera in it, so they easily detect if you're taking picture of a group selfie, or maybe it predicts your age. So that comes under computer vision. Now secondly, we have convert handwritten digits into characters 0 to 9. Like there are multiple algorithms which do this conversion from handwritten digits to character, but the most useful is MNIST one, which was used since like I think 2000. So these are few applications in the vision domain. Now we come to robotics, the favorite for most of us. So designing autonomous robot that learns to navigate from its own experience. This is another reinforcement learnings example. You can see autonomous robot has to learn everything on its own. Depending on what happens to it yesterday, it will behave tomorrow. Like if there is something, if you teach the robot something to do today, the robot will remember that and will try to improve for the next day. Secondly, we have humanoid like Sophia. I think you
All
all are
right.
familiar with
All right.
Sophia. The Yeah,
All right. So let me just have let me just based on the application you've given, I want to give fewer application. Yeah.
yeah, the
We are
vision.
talking about prediction. So I want to, for example, many who are joining in this meeting or this training are working either in factories, either in offices, either in either they are students. So we have such set of people. Now, one thing machine learning can do is basically we're talking about prediction. So we can actually use it to predict failures in your plants. In your we can predict a likely failure with data we've received. So like what he has explained, we're talking about supervised, unsupervised, we're talking about semi. So with all this data it has received, it can have a prediction of likely failures to occur. So this is what machine learning can do. Now the test kit we also have, for example, the COVID-19 test kit we have, you see, it already incorporated with machine learning system. So basically, with the input it's receiving, it can either give an output, either possible disease or no disease. And another one is it can also suggest heart attack. So for example, imagine you are wearing a smartwatch and receiving data of your pulse and everything. You can have a prediction of likely heart attack of the person. So these are use cases of ML in our space here. Anoop, do you have something to add?
Mm,
Yeah,
no, I
so
don't
should I
think.
go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
go on, Anjika. Yeah.
Yeah. So another domain in which machine learning is widely used is business intelligence. Another very important domain since the last 2 years. Like there, when inventions were done in this domain, particularly there are certain ETL tools like extract, transform, load tools are invented. Some of the data analytics techniques were invented just for the sake of business intelligence. So the very first thing come in our mind when we read about business intelligence is forecasting sales based on past data, which is somewhat similar like forecasting failure based on your machine's data. So these two things are like similar in a certain way. Like we have some data, we have some input, we are trying to train the model, we train that, and at the output we get if the data is if our model is doing good or not, based on the accuracy or maybe some any other performance measure. And the second thing in business intelligence is identify price sensitive, which is another important thing. Like range of price based on previous records as well as present situation is one of the most thing. you cannot set the price of any product too high or too low. So you have to keep tracking it. You have to know how much your price sensitivity is. You have to set the accurate price so that you don't hurt your customers and you don't have to go in a loss. So you are maintaining your profit and you are maintaining your customer relations. So these two things are also important in this application. Now, we will be discussing some of the amazing machine learning applications you might be aware of. So, the very first thing is Amazon food reviews. Not only Amazon food reviews, there are multiple things similar to sentiment analysis, like we have Twitter sentiment analysis. So, in sentiment analysis, we try to categorize the reviews or the tweets in three main categories, that is negative, neutral, or positive. So you can come up with idea like if a product has more positive reviews than negative reviews, a user is likely to buy that product. But for some instance, if a product has more negative reviews, then as a user you might not buy it. So that is the main purpose of sentiment analysis. You keep tracking your performance of your product, if it is doing good or not, by checking its positive and negative reviews, and also neutral reviews come in help sometimes. So another one is cancel survival prediction. This is another project I have worked on. Here we try to predict if the patient survives for more than 2 years in upcoming, more than 2 years after this, after suffering from cancer. So we have used inputs like his age, his blood pressure, and try to check some of his notes, which is some domain related thing. So notes is basically the reason of cancer. If there are multiple nodes, like more than 10 of nodes, then the cancer is very severe. So depending on such features, we try to predict if a patient can survive more than 2 years or not. So this is one of the most important project, I think, so which is related to not only cancer, like multiple diseases. And another most importantly, it is used in medical domain, which is most important for current scenario. Like we always say, health is wealth. Another one is Quora question pair similarity. Like you will be wondering why we have to do that. So imagine Quora is like a social networking platform where a user asks about something, and the domain experts will answer to it. Like if you go and search for like what is machine learning, there are several answers written for that. So in this way, Quora is a social site where questions and answers are there. In Quora question pair similarity, what we did is we tried some checking some pairs of questions, and we checked if the question is similar or not. If the two questions are similar but worded differently, then there is no point in having two different questions. Why would you increase your data set for those two similar questions? So in order to decrease the load on data set, we are trying this Quora question pair similarity. So we have to reduce the data set as well as we have to improve the accuracy for our website. So and we are coming to the end of this. We will be discussing about learning process for machine learning. Now most of you might be wondering, how should I begin to learn machine learning? Which programming languages should I learn? Or you might be wondering like, how much maths should I learn from now? Is the statistics learned before today is enough to do some machine learning projects? So we will be covering that in next slides. So how to begin? So these strategies are my personal favorite strategies. The very first strategy is check your own strength. Like it's not about SWOT analysis, but yeah, you have to check your own strengths. If you're good with programming language, you have to just focus on maths and logic behind each algorithm. And if you're not that much good in programming languages, you can try building some basics of programming language from R, Python, MATLAB. There are other languages also, but R, Python, MATLAB are like most used in recent years. Like Python is one of the most used programming language for machine learning. MATLAB is also preferred by researchers. We will come back to it later, but yeah, if you're not good at programming, you should try learning data structures and algorithm in that particular language. Do some hands-on projects on that. and then you can start learning machine learning algorithm. Now, secondly, you have to begin with some X algorithm, learn its theory, maths along with practical implementation. Do some assignment on it. Like that means you have to completely go through each and every document you can get about that particular algorithm. Let's say it's k nearest neighbor algorithm. So KNN is one of the most important algorithm and it's basic algorithm. So you have to learn its theory, like how it works. The theory can be explained in various types. It can be statistical theory, it can be geometrical theory. So you have to go through all of it. Then you have to learn maths along with practical implementation. So maths means in KNN, what is the optimal solution? Like what is the optimization problem? Then you have to go with practical implementation, like practically implementing the program for it, and then do one assignment on it. Like you can search on Kaggle and other platforms, and then go to Y algorithm. So now you have learned some. Yeah. So someone has raised a hand. You can unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, please. You mentioned on the list of programming languages which one can learn. You mentioned on Python, MATLAB, and R. What about someone who is good in C++? Can C++
Yeah.
be used for machine learning?
Yeah, C++ can be used in machine learning, but compared to R and Python, C++ cannot be used because in R and Python there are specific machine learning libraries. In Python, in just 4 to 5 lines of code, you can build some model and you can predict some things, but not in C++. In C++, in the language like that, you have to write hundreds of lines of code and then you build a model. So it's preferred that you have to write minimum lines of code and to get maximum output. Is your doubt clear?
Wow. Okay. So it's advisable for me to start learning Python.
Yeah, Python is like most preferred language. I'm coming back to it in the next slide. Yeah. So yeah, so now you have learned some X algorithm, let's say KNN. Now you go to Y algorithm. That is your second algorithm. Now you have known about first algorithm, your very first algorithm, be it KNN, be it linear regression. Now you go to second algorithm and try to understand the analogy between X and Y. Like that is the analogy between those two algorithms, how much they are similar. In machine learning, most of the algorithms are similar. In like in supervised learning, there are various algorithms which are similar in like understanding, but there are certain mathematical changes are there. Some lines of code is changed, but otherwise it's all the same. That's why it's preferred to study one algorithm, then go for second algorithm and try to understand the analogy between these two. After that, you can learn third algorithm, go from the theory, programming, all that stuff, and try to find analogy between those three. So in this way, you can keep learning some algorithms. So you're good to go. You're good to be a machine learning engineer. That's what is preferred nowadays because there are multiple algorithms, and you don't remember which algorithm can be used where. So it's better to remember the analogy. Yeah. Yeah, so programming language. So now coming up to your doubt, in programming language we have three major programming languages here. Python, which is easiest to learn. Like anywhere you go now, Python is used in industry. It is used in most of the practical implementations in machine learning also, be it web development, be it game development. Python is everywhere nowadays. But for the drawback of Python is one must know all the required modules for that project. You know, there are certain modules in machine learning that can easily do some tasks for you, do a mathematical, like big mathematical implementations can be computed by 2 lines of code in Python. That's why remembering these things can be a hard step for someone. So this is one of the drawbacks for Python. Otherwise, Python is the most used language in current scenarios. R. So R is another programming language, but it's more of a statistical language. Whenever statistical study is important, R programming language is used. R has similar syntax like Python, but it's not much preferred by the actual machine learnings or data scientists which are working in maybe internet companies, because the Python has multiple low latency applications. So I think you might all know. what is low latency. So whenever you have to compute the output faster, then the project is having low latency. So high speed says high speed is equal to low latency. You can think of like that. So Python has multiple low latency applications unlike R. That's why R is not preferred above Python. And now coming back to third programming language, that is MATLAB. Most of us are knowing it because we are all from electronics and electrical background. So preferred by researchers as one don't need to remember modules and packages unlike Python. Yeah, so the drawback of Python is removed here. The MATLAB is matrix laboratory, as you can see the full form itself. It tries to revolve around matrix calculations. Whenever the computations regarding to matrix are involved in projects, you can easily try to implement the models in MATLAB. MATLAB was used in old times, but now Python packages are easy to implement and stronger also. So one can easily create a model in Python, but not in MATLAB. But I think researchers prefer MATLAB over any language because I had a chat with my friend who is doing a PhD in IIT here. So he said like in MATLAB we don't have to remember all the packages, but in Python you have to remember it, and most of the time you try searching for that particular module. If you cannot find it, then your all knowledge should goes to vain. So that's why MATLAB comes in hand when you don't remember anything, so you are good to go with MATLAB. But the Python is preferred anytime. So now mathematics and statistics. Mathematics in we have linear algebra, matrix operations. One of the most important part in linear algebra plays an important matrix operation play a very important role in machine learning, especially in algorithms like k nearest neighbor and support vector machines. There is coordinate geometry like coordinate geometry is study of certain planes, hyperplanes. It revolves around circles, ellipse, and all those geometrical shapes. But their vector representation is also important. That's why we have included the vector and calculus. As you all know, integration and differentiation is another important part when it comes to proof of that particular algorithm. Statistics. Now coming up to statistics, statistics is the backbone of any machine learning model. So probability and different distributions. There are certain distributions like normal distribution. So you have to understand each and every distribution. Like there is normal distribution, log-less distribution. If you know the difference between them, you are good to go. Because there is certain relation between the data, then you can easily implement that in your model. If you don't know how much the data is related with, then you cannot easily build that model. You can build, but it will take some effort from your side. So it's not good to start actually implementing the model without knowing the distribution. Then again it comes to correlation, which is another major factor. You have to correlate your data, like you check if there is some correlation between the two clusters. Then it comes pdf cdf, you all know, probability distribution function. And so these things are most important when it comes to visualization. You would go and analyze your pdfs so that you get to know more about, like if there is certain data range is having multiple points and certain data range is having lower points. So that's why PDF is very crucial. Another statistical terms like mean, mode, median, variance, and standard deviation. These all things come to use in like complex computations. Whenever there are big data set, you try to minimize them by using some mean of some particular column, by taking mode of some column. So yeah, that's why the statistical terms like mean, mode come in play whenever there is a complex data set. And now coming back to visualization, there are histogram, density plot, line plot, contour plot. So there are different types of visualization which come to play whenever there is statistics involved, because depending on that particular statistical term, you can check how your data is moving. Yeah, so by this we are come to an end of this session. If you have any query, you can ask.
Hello everyone. So this is Anoop from Technomechanics. So first of all, I would like to thank you for attending this session. So those who will be till the end of the session, then you will be also getting a certificate from us. Okay. So guys, yeah, if you have any question, then you can ask. Or the meanwhile, I would like to say you something. Okay. So yeah, the thing is that now we must understand why we have conducted this webinar, okay, or why we are here, right? So we are all here to learn machine learning, which is a center of skill in the 21st century, right? So if you want to survive, if you want to do everything in this world, right? Like I recently read a report and I come to know that 67% of the job in Nigeria are going to be replaced, okay, in the coming 3 or 4 years with the due to the artificial intelligence, machine learning, okay. So when I say replace, then the people who will not upgrade their skill, they will be no more like accepted in the industry, okay, because everything is moving really fast. Like now we are talking about giving everything to the machines, like they have their own intelligence, they can decide, they can perform everything, right? And also now we are introducing the concept of dark factory, okay. So if you don't know what is a dark factory, it is something like you can just imagine a factory where there will be no light, okay. When I say there will be no light, then that means there will be no human, okay. You put the product from one end and you will get the output at the another end, okay. Zero human intervention is required. So this concept has been already deployed in the China, and they are able to achieve a lots of profit due to this. Okay. So guys, now the pattern of the job is changing. Everything is changing, right? So you should also change your knowledge, your educations, and all this thing to get fitted into this new environment. Okay. The whatever the new world is coming out, you need to be fit into that environment. Okay. So for this technomechanics and energy for all venture, we thought and brainstorm on this thing. So then we come to a solution, and we thought that we need to conduct such kind of training where we can help you to gain a knowledge. Okay. So this was just a basic introduction of machine learning, okay, and all this thing. So if you want to know more about this, like we conduct some of the trainings on Python, okay, like as one of the person has asked, right, like whether he can do the machine learning with the C++ or not, right? So you can do with the C++, but you will not get that much flexibility as you get with Python, because as Ajinke mentioned, in Python you have a lots of lots of libraries already available, okay. It is easy to implement, okay. You can use it for any application, low latency, okay. So there are lots of benefits, okay. So if you want to do a structure course, okay, when I say structure course, then from ABCD, okay, that's step by step. If you want to learn from scratch Python, okay, then you can contact us anytime, okay. So I would like to request ability to give his contact number, like in the,
All right.
yeah, in the
So
chat
so
box.
thank you. So thank you. So like you said, just to add, I'll drop the details on the chat feed. So just to add, whenever I go for meetings, one thing I always tell people whenever I meet people who need to upgrade is that technology, IoT, machine learning are not coming to take away jobs. They are coming to replace jobs. So the point is, you will still be at your job if you have the right skills. Like it's been said, late during the time, okay, I've shared my contact details on the chat feed. You can chat me up if you want to know more about it. So during the time when the adoption of automation came on board, a lot of people who were opportune to learn that skill didn't take it serious because they felt it wasn't needed at that point. But we can now see how far automation have grown. Like if you're an electrical technician or even mechanical and you don't have an automation skill, it is very lean for you to get a job in this sector, in this century we are living in. It is very lean. Now, the truth is, a lot of people, the world leaders and everyone are pushing up on IoT, on machine learning, because they want to actually reduce cost of operation. I mean, they feel there are a lot of jobs that machines are doing, that humans are doing, or machines can actually do. So this is why IoT and the adoption of machine learning is coming on board. Now, with automation, fine, but you still need some human input. But with IoT, I mean, virtually from anywhere, you can do anything you want to do without being physical, with machine learning and all these things. Now, most of the skills that were discussed here, like Python and the rest, is something you can learn more about. I tell you, with the premium course, you can know more details about it. So if you want to know more, just chat me up, chat that number up, and I bet you're going to get more details on the trainings. Now, we also offer free trainings from time to time. Yes, we will offer free trainings from time to time, just to create awareness and also to train people on the right skills. So we'll also be dropping, okay, Mustafa has a question. Let's leave Mustafa to talk. Yeah, unmute yourself, Mustafa. I've given you the.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
ask Mr.
Mustafa, can.
Yeah.
Yeah, ask your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you want to ask a question, Mustafa. Not really. Okay, it went off. So guys, if you have any question, you can signify. We're here to answer your questions. If you have questions, we expect to hear questions from all of you. You're welcome. Metaba, Chinedu, Chukwemeka, Chukuma, Darlington, Fidelis, Stephen, you came on time. Thanks for staying. Isaac, Patrick, Stav, and all. Valmont, you're also welcome. So we entertain questions from you guys, and we are ready to answer such questions. You can signify by raising up your hand, and we would call you.
And
Or you can
yes,
unmute yourself too.
yes, guys. And guys, I have shared one feedback link in the chat box. Okay, you can check it out. So those who will be filling this feedback form will get a free certificate. Okay, you will be getting a certificate within a week. Okay, so please fill this feedback form before leaving the meeting. And if you have any question, okay, so if you want to upgrade your skill, like if you're in a confusion, like what shall I do if I want to come into IoT field, okay, if I should start with Python or something else, okay, where should I go? If you have any doubt, then contact this number which you can see in the screen. Okay, so we will help you out and we will make you an employable person, okay, for the 21st century. Okay, because this is a very critical period. Okay, so those ever who will not learn the things, they will be out of the market soon. That's the truth.
Yeah, I think it's not about just only machine learning. Machine learning can be used in electronics also. Like we have seen some applications in robotics also. If
Yes,
an algorithm can detect, like if an algorithm can play with 15 times world champion, then an algorithm can do any IoT stuff. Like so, yeah.
yes.
So you have to upgrade your skills time to time.
So let me give an instance of what we're doing. So in a facility or one of the FCMG factory in Nigeria here, we're trying to build a model that can actually predict failures for them and keep them informed, because sometimes we discover that you know, sometimes we discover that if the factory is running, most times they do not discover a failure until midnight. At that time, staffs are not around to actually tackle that job. So it leaves them, they have to delay the job to the next morning. But then if we have something that can actually learn that machine's behavior and predict failure from X, Y, Z. So I mean, it will save them cost of maintenance. There are a lot of costs it can save them. So these are things we are doing in the ML space, and I encourage all who want to learn more can reach out to me. We are ready to give you support. And one other thing we are also doing is lifetime support. So suppose you have a project you want to do, reach out to us. We are going to give you support on how to do it, how to implement it. You have an idea in your factory, in where you work, in your workplace, you feel can cut down cost for them and can bring more revenue. Yes, you can bring it on board. We will give you support on how to do it. So without saying much, I want to hear feedback from every one of us. So I will be starting from Taba. Are you on? Let me hear your feedback. You have any questions? You have anything to say? Let's hear you. You can unmute yourself. I guess everyone is unmuted. So you can unmute yourself and yeah. Taba, can you? Yeah. All right. Let's move on to um, um, let's move on to Chukuma. Chukuma, can you give your feedback?
Yeah, hello, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening, good evening.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a great eye-opener. But for me, I'm a layman in programming, though I have a great interest in machine learning. So I don't know how I can benefit from the training. Judging from my location, I don't know whether the training is usually virtual training or I have to come around to your training venue. I don't know.
Yes, so thank you very much for this question. Okay, this is one of the very important question. So all our training will be the virtual one, but it will be a project-based training. Okay, because guys, so it will be very extensive training, and at the end of the day, we will be help you in making some project. Okay, which you can upload in your GitHub account. You can also put it in your resume. And guys, the fact is that when you work on some industrial project, then it will be a really eye opener for you. Okay, then you will learn lots of things. Okay, so in this way we skill and we develop your knowledge. Okay, by giving you some project, we will take your feedback again, we will give you some assignment to work on, we will brainstorm on you, like what is your competency, in which area you should go. So we will make you a full-fledged IoT developer, machine learning developer, or any good programmer. Okay, so we will help you in this journey. So it will be the online only, but yeah, there will be lots of project to work upon. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, and Chukuma, it's nice hearing you. So if you need more details, just chat me up, and I'll be glad to help you. So let's hear from Itaba. Itaba, are you ready? Chinedu, you can get set. After Itaba, you kick
Yeah,
off.
someone is having some problem. Like
Okay,
Itaba
let me
is
take it.
having. Yeah, can you unmute him?
Yeah, you
Yes.
can unmute yourself and talk.
Yes, yes, I can unmute
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Can
so
you
we
hear
want to get
me?
Yeah,
feedback
we
from
can
you.
hear you.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can hear you.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I want to really appreciate you guys for this training. It's very nice. And I want to ask, some of us, my question is almost similar to the guy that just spoke. I have just still a baby on the PLC programming issue. But is there any other means that we can receive this training as in one-on-one, like my own location, I stayed in Ibadan. Do you have any place, any center in Ibadan like that?
All right. For now, because of the
Yeah, because of
COVID-19
lockdown.
pandemic and everything, for now, we have no such partner for that. But the training session, yeah, everything is going virtual. We need to adopt to our new normal.
Yes,
Like it's been
guys.
said, yeah, this is just a rush. This is just an brief training we
Yes.
did here.
Yeah,
So
and
when it
irrespective
comes
of
to
virtual training, we can have one-to-one mentorship also. If you have any doubt, you can contact any of us, and
And
yeah,
guys, the
we are there
best
to
part,
solve your
and
problem.
the best part of our training is that we will help you a lot. Okay, so we will also provide the recording of the session. Suppose if you miss it out, or if you want to recall it after 3 months, 4 months. Okay, so we can do this. Okay, so you can expect that it will be same as the physical training. Okay, so we have that misconception in mind that in physical training it will be more good, and we will have we can ask the faculty or the instructor if we have some problem or this thing, right? But yeah, we need to change our mind and we need to come to the virtual, because this is what the reality is. And yeah, because like, see, now we are having this pandemic situation, right? We don't know whether it will be end or not. Suppose if it does not end, then we cannot like ship in our house without upgrading our skill, right? So we need to upgrade our skill with different we should come up with a different solution, like as what technomechanics and energy for venture is doing. Okay, we give you assignment, we will mentor you, we will call you and ask like what is your progress. Okay, if you don't know, if you have not understand something, then we take a one-on-one session with you. Okay, and we will provide you the recording, and we all do all lots of stuff. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
thank you
we
very
think
much.
like this is the most important time to learn new things. Like everyone is at home, so we can try to learn maximum things during this lockdown period.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on.
Yeah,
Yeah. Please, is there any way we can get materials for this training?
Yeah, for this one.
Yeah, for the whole training that is going on. Yeah,
yeah, for
like
the
the
whole
former
IoT
one
training.
and this and the subsequent one.
Yes. Yeah. For this, what you need to do, you need to contact on the number that you see on the screen. Okay. So he will provide you the material. Okay. Just contact on this number, WhatsApp him.
Yeah,
Okay. He will provide you the material. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I think we're moving on to Chinedu. We have Daniel. Be ready. Darlington, you pick up next. So Chinedu, can you unmute yourself? Daniel also, can you unmute yourself if you can hear me? And Darlington too. Yeah. So we need your feedback and questions or doubts. So Daniel,
Yeah.
Yeah, feel free to
you,
ask actually.
all right. Can you unmute yourself? I think it's possible. I've unmuted everyone. So if you want to unmute yourself,
All
click on
right.
that. Okay,
Okay.
Darlington.
All
Yeah.
right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
evening.
good evening.
Yeah. Um. Actually, I'm really grateful with this opportunity, because really right now in the world, everything is going automation. So presently, I have basic understanding on automation, and I'm very new in this, and I would want more clarification, because right now I've done a little bit of training on X7 programming, PLC
All
training.
right.
So, but I know that I think I kind of, on the schematic S7 I did, I think I kind of steps ahead, because this is the basic
Yeah,
C++, Python, and MATLAB. So
Yeah.
I didn't do this before going to that point. So
Yeah.
which kind of, okay,
Yeah.
I
Go
can
on.
hear
Go
you.
on. Finish your question.
Okay, so I would actually, because I'm somebody that I really, I love practicals for me to understand better. There is nothing I can do without I prefer to do a practical job for me to actually understand that I'm getting this right. So I would actually want to know if I can get in touch, but because of the pandemic, I stay here in Lagos. I don't mind coming over to the training center and getting more of this, but I don't know if there's another way we can make it work, like the virtual learning you're saying, give assignments, and I work on it. Though I've taken the number down, I'll still ask you more questions on this, because I would like to get the basic knowledge about programming before jumping to a lot of questions I need to ask.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. So
Yeah.
so
Thank you.
I also did trainings on S7. I mean, and also RS Logics. I talk about any PLC. But then one thing we need to know is after this training, if there is no practice, the knowledge is off. Are you with me?
E-
So
Exactly.
for you to keep learning, you need to do more projects. And that is one thing IoT is more good at, because the components are cheaper and better. So for example, if you do a training on Siemens S7 300 or 400, now I will tell you that if you go into the industry, sometimes you might find it challenging to even carry out those actions,
Yes.
because I mean, a 1 week training or a 2 weeks training in a lab would not put you so full-fledged to carry out.
Exactly.
Understand? Now, what we are doing here at Energy for All and Technomechanics is we are giving you projects. So projects that you have to deliver. And
Okay.
if you face any encounter, there is a one-on-one mentorship. So you can anytime beep on us and you will be given mentorship on how to carry out the project. But you will be the one who deliver the project. And also there is a lifetime support. So anytime you encounter a problem, you have a project, you are learning something, you encounter a bump, you have to still come and you have this community where you can talk to. So I'll give you an example of what I face. Sometimes while writing programs, I encounter bombs. So some big challenges that I know, I can't face this alone. So I have a community where I can tap in and say, I have this problem, what and what and what and what. And I have 1 or 2 people who give me mentorship on how to carry out that. So that is what we're doing at Technomechanics and Energy for All. And that is a project-based learning. Are you getting the point? So you still get the same value as you are doing it live. If I tell you to come live and I give you a 1 week training, that won't be enough. Or will I tell you to stay for 3 months? You won't have that time. But then our training is lasting
Exactly.
for
Yeah,
4
that's
weeks,
true.
and also even more. After the training, you also have a mentorship from time to time. And one other thing is we will also help you upload your project on GitHub. Now, suppose you are looking for a job or you want to change your job and you want to tell someone you did a project or you know this XYZ, you can have something as a proof to tell the person. You get my point? So this is some of the things. We do. So thank you for that. That's a very important question. So thank you so much. You can reach out and I will be there to provide more answers to you. So we'll move on to Darlington. We'll move on to Darlington.
Hello, good evening to everyone. I really appreciate this opportunity because I personally have been looking for an avenue to learn AI, that's artificial intelligence, and I think learning machine language is a step. But I want to know, this machine learning we're embarking on now. I would like to know the requirements. What and what do we need for a thorough section for this course? And what if at all we are to use PCs or phones? What softwares or what applications can we download, or we don't need to download any software or application to learn this? I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah, all right. I get your point. Yeah, I get your point. So now, one question is, what do you need to partake of this? Now, you need internet, you need a PC, and you need your mindset. Now, those 3 are important. Now, for relevant software, it will be communicated to you. Are you with me? So be it Python, MID, or any other one we want to use, it will be communicated to you. And you'll be shown how to download it and get access to. You got my point?
Okay.
Yeah.
How long
there
will
is
this training
there is
process
also no
last?
point in downloading. Yeah, you don't need to download some particular applications. There are some platforms like Google Colab itself. They provide you the compiler in the website itself. So you can go to it. You can save your model. You can run your model. And you can get your output on the website itself. You don't have to uh, install this any certain application. Yeah.
We have
So how long will the program last, please?
Okay, so it's depend. Okay, so Darlington, so it depends. Okay, so some of the courses are like for 2 months, 1 month. Okay, so it depends on what is the expertise and whatever the content is start there. Okay, so yeah.
Okay. So reach out to me, and I'll provide further answer. I think Chinedu, you can you ask the question briefly while Daniel, you can be ready. Patrick and Stephen, you can be ready with Vermont. So Chinedu, ask a question briefly. You're raising up your hand.
Yeah, we have Dennis raising hand, right?
Okay.
I
Daniel,
want to
can you
unmute
go?
myself. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
My question is I want to know this training. How frequently are we having it? So I will know and have a mindset that okay, so time I'm going to have this training, because some of us are working and we work on shift basis. So let's know how to plan ourselves. Most times when we're on duty, we don't even remember our phone and everything.
Yeah.
So I just want to program myself and know how to plan myself.
All right. That's an important question. Thank you. So what we do is we run the training twice a week. So there is a Wednesday and there is a Saturday. The Wednesday training starts by 6 p.m. because I mean we want everyone to be at home. But then if you're working on a shift, fine. It starts by 6 p.m. for 2 to 3 hours, and the Saturday start by 4 p.m. for 2 to 3 hours. But then you have mentorship all through. So suppose you are free anytime, and within Monday to Saturday, and you need some, you miss the program, you have the video, and you want some explanation, we would arrange a small brush up section for you, and also explain some of the things your questions will be answered. You understand? Suppose you have questions privately, you can meet us. So, but
Yeah.
then it's twice a week, and 2 to 3 hours per day. Recordings will be provided for you to go through over and over, and also mentorship. The main thing about it is mentorship. It's not about viewing record, but then you need to be mentored. So suppose you view the record, you have questions. The first thing is mindset. If you have any questions, you can ask us and we will provide answer to you. Yeah, so we move
Okay.
on. We move
Yeah.
All
on
right.
to
Thank you.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Daniel, Stephen, thank you for waiting. You'll be next, Stephen. Then Patrick will follow.
yeah, we have Daniel here. Yeah, Daniel, you can go ahead.
Yeah.
You can unmute yourself and you can ask. Yeah.
Good evening, all.
Yeah. Good evening.
It's nice joining the training. Unfortunately, I just joined about 8 minutes ago. The training is already over, so I cannot say much for today. But I want to ask, like you just responded that the training is for Wednesdays and Fridays, but today is
Saturday.
Thursday.
Saturday. This is a free training. This is a brush up training.
Okay, the one for Wednesday and Saturday
This is a premium, yeah.
on premium. Okay, I would like to know more on that. Maybe I will
Okay.
reach later
Okay.
first.
Chat up the number to know more.
Yes, and yeah, and I would like to give you one of the problem that we face. Okay, guys, like I think most of you have started learning coding or maybe machine learning or something new, right? Regardless of what job you have done, right? Most of you have tried to learn something, but what happened? You left it in the middle. Okay, suppose you started learning C programming, Python, or maybe PLC, then you do it for 1 2 3 days, then you left it out, right? And again you don't have any knowledge at the end of the day, right? So this is the problem that we see mostly happen with the people who are working in the industry, right? So our course is something which is more comply with your nature, okay? Because we know like you have the shift problem, you may not be able to join some meeting at a specific date, so we make a flexibility that you can come afterward and you can again learn from us, okay? And our training is something which is we will be only working on the project, okay? And there are some individual oriented project, okay? Suppose let us consider there is someone who is from energy industry, okay, who is working on the solar. So we will train him on some project which will be based on solar, okay, which will help him to implement the same thing in the industry, okay? So the training that we provide is completely complying with whatever you are doing in your work, okay? And it will help you to upgrade your skill, okay? Now suppose let us consider you are working in a solar and you want to go to the oil and gas industry, right? So when you go to, and if you want to go to an oil and gas industry, then when you go there for interview, then if you say that you have done one project on this thing, then the rate of acceptance of your application is high, right? So we will provide you that support, okay? We will make your resume, everything perfect, okay? So that the chances of getting job will be also increased. And at the end of the day, after doing our course, you will be full competent enough to say that I know Python, I know this part of machine learning, or I know IoT, okay? We basically focus on IoT, industrial automation and all these things. And machine learning is something which is a part of which drives all these things, right? So this is the one thing, yeah, that I would like to mention. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, now we can go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah, during the session, if you have any like doubt regarding to your resume, you can send to us, and we will tell you like where is the chance for me for improvement. You can also share the links of your LinkedIn profiles so that we can review it and tell you where you have to make changes, what you have to upgrade in your LinkedIn profile, and all that stuff, so that you will be more likely to get selected in the particular job you wanted to do.
All right, thank you, thank you. I think Stephen, thanks for holding on. Yeah, it will be glad to hear from you once more. Stephen, are you here? You can unmute yourself. All right. I think everyone on board, we've heard from everyone. Okay.
we have Patrick.
Patrick, yeah, that's true. Patrick, let's hear from you. Let's hear your voice.
I'm very grateful for this great opportunity. Honestly, I said I thank the organizer and people that have made this program available. I'm so grateful. Though I'm a novice on this area, but I want to find out what are the basics that I need to appraise myself with so that I can take advantage of this opportunity. It's a good one to upgrade myself. So I really appreciate it. So what are the basics that I need to appraise myself with so that I can
The first
be
thing is, like
proficient
I
on
said,
this area?
yeah, the first thing, like I do tell people, it's mindset. So if you put your mindset and say in the next 3 months, mindset,
Yeah.
because we will
Okay.
mentor you. So we will make sure that you are on board. Are you with me? So because I mean, if you take this project, if you take a learning course on your own, you might slack back. But then you'll be giving assignments, you'll be giving projects to work on.
Okay.
So first of all, the mindset. You have a
Yeah.
system, you have the right mindset, you are good to go. You understand?
Okay.
So that is the you don't need to limit yourself by saying I don't need to do I have to learn this. No. Once you have the right mindset, we will take you from the scratch and build you
Okay.
along the way. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm glad
Yeah,
to
no
be here.
problem. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
So
so I think we have everyone, right?
Stephen, Apenteng. Sorry if I pronounce it wrongly. I need to hear from you. Peggy Abby just joined, but you've not joined your mic. In case you need any question or any briefing on how this training went, you can chat up this number.
Yes.
Stephen, I don't know why you maybe we can't hear you. You can't unmute yourself
Yes.
now.
So guys,
So
please fill the feedback form, okay, so that we can provide you the certificate, okay. I have shared the feedback form in the chat box, okay. Please fill this form and let us know like how we can improve, and if you need any help, then call to this number or WhatsApp him, okay. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys. So
Thank you very much.
thank you. So stay safe, guys. Observe the rules of the government. They said COVID-19 is real. Let's keep it real. And I hope to get more feedback from you guys. Please fill the feedback form. I will also drop the feedback form via the group chat. So fill the feedback form. And if you've not joined our group chat, you just buzz me up. I'm going to ping me. I'm going to send you that link. So thank you guys. Stay safe. Yeah, we will provide the material. So stay safe. Yeah, bye for now. Bye.
Thank you.
Take care
Bye.
guys.
Yeah.
Bye.